if you guys were a college player, would you want to get paid, or would you agree with the NCAA not allowing the players to be compensated for um, showing their face and competing in like events that are televised and shown all across the world? So my topic is paying college athletes, and I've continued with this topic all throughout the course because I felt that it's a big issue, and a lot of like professional athletes like today, like just for example, LeBron James and other athletes have agreed with the fact that athletes should be paid in college because they're put through a lot of work and such. So I'll go over some of the things that the NCAA doesn't allow, which is obviously they don't allow the players to be compensated. I feel like the NCAA is in a way a monopoly because, like I said, they profit off of the players' face. They make all the money, and like I said, they don't allow the players at all to make any money from endorsing themselves or by just endorsing through maybe social media. Like YouTube is, for example, is something that college athletes cannot use because it'll attract attention and maybe affect the school or the way they play or whatever it is. NCAA also has full control over these college athletes because they're considered amateurs still. They're not professional athletes yet. So the NCAA, like I said, doesn't allow them to be paid. It doesn't allow them to sponsor themselves. And some of the backlash that these players go through, such like suspension, for example, a Memphis player who accepted money from their coach just got suspended the whole season, and the coach is still awaiting like trial to see how they're going to treat his whole situation. Like I said, there's a lot of money that goes into it, which at the end of the day, that's the basis of it because these players aren't being paid. For example, like March Madness, which is a huge NCAA basketball tournament at the end of the year, which could make possibly close to like $5 million or much more than that, just because the NCAA teams up with like programs like TBS or TNT or whatever it is. All that money flows all through the NCAA and whatever, and the players aren't allowed to touch any of that money. Like I said, at the end of the day, I feel like our athletes deserve pay for many reasons, just because they're amateurs. They put in the same time of work that professional athletes put, the same time in practice. A lot of these, because they're college athletes, they have to spend time in the classroom and have to spend time training, which could be up to like 40 plus hours. For example, one of the cases was a college athlete who can enjoy his summer break, such as like maybe friends of his that aren't on the team, just because he has to train over the summer to still work with the coaches and with the team and expanding the program. Like I said, there's no summer break. There's no break at all for a college athlete. It's either school or you're training. Athletes like that are just treated unfairly. Another big issue that goes into it, just because like in professional sports, athletes are able to sponsor themselves, they're able to connect with shoe brands and just create their own substance to something that can make them money. And these college athletes are not allowed to do that. So I feel like that's unfair, and it's unfair to the actual athlete himself. The concluding purpose, like I said, is the NCAA at the end of the day is a monopoly. It works as a big business that a lot of people are against nowadays. It doesn't allow them to expand their interests. Just because athletes are considered like an athlete, they aren't allowed to really expand. Besides that, they're not allowed to expand their interests. These athletes aren't, just because they put in a lot of time in the training room, it doesn't really allow them to connect with something else that they may be interested in. So whether it's a major, something that they're driven to in school, like I said, being a college athlete, it just keeps them straight. It doesn't really allow them to expand into something else that they'd want to do. And like I said, at the end of the day, it profits off of the athlete. Jersey sales or whatever it is, these athletes don't make any money off of that. Millions and millions of jerseys are sold, whether they're even fake or not. But at the end of the day, all the money goes to the NCAA, and these players aren't able to really show their face and make any sort of money off of that. And that is
I have a question.
yes.
Some people were saying that if you allow schools to pay athletes,
Yeah.
then it'll make it unfair because everyone will just go to the school that has the most money. What do you think about that?
California did pass a bill, which just allowed like universities in California to allow like the students to make money, but supposedly, like all the or not all the countries, but all the states in the United States are, supposedly they're gonna follow that rule, the same bill that was passed, which it doesn't take effect until 2023, but like I said, there's a lot of like influence. It just creates like a pattern, and I'm pretty sure the other states will tag on to that, and then players all across the nation will be able to make money off of that. All right, cool.